one and all, to the Revolutionary Wrestling Podcast for our taste, test, and review of Crown Apple. I am the devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, the Muhammad Ali of alcohol podcasting himself, Phil KOE, joined by my indomitable broadcast partner,
Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. Here we are yet again with another review of a popular, well, let's call it a brown spirit whiskey of sorts.
a liqueur.
Sure, that's putting it nicely.
Actually, funny that you mentioned that, because they add flavoring to this, they legally cannot call it whiskey.
That's accurate.
If you get very close onto the label, it will say apple flavored whiskey, because this is technically a liqueur, but liqueur does not sell as well as whiskey. So they want to put the whiskey label on it.
Yep, so they hit the bare minimum and limbo underneath the exception of the rule.
I was about to say, they kind of, like, they're not calling it whiskey. They are calling it a flavored whiskey. So there's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely is.
Now, I did actually open this previously and pour it into a couple of decanters of mine. So I figured while there's still some left in the original packaging, we will get into this. Now, I'm a huge fan of Crown Peach. It's great stuff.
Yes.
Let's see.
Crown Peach was Crown Royal's home run on the flavored whiskey liqueur endeavor. Apple was it their first flavored whiskey?
Oh, no.
I mean,
Apple,
fruit.
Fruit based.
Sugar-wise.
Yes. They've had a lot of, like,
they did
honey
maple.
and
They did
and
maple. I think
mesquite.
apple was. They did maple. Apple was next. Honey was after that, and then they started getting weird, and then they finally knocked it out of the park with peach. But I believe this was the second entry to the.
Actually, I think this came first before peach.
No, this was before maple or after maple.
Yeah. But yeah, this came before peach, but after maple.
Yes, before peach.
But let's read the back here. Flavorful and refined. To create this extraordinary blend, Crown Royal whiskeys are hand-selected by our master blender and infused with Regal Gala apples. The result is a delicious whiskey balanced with notes of crisp apple flavor. Enjoy straight, on the rocks, or in a cocktail for a uniquely smooth experience. Crown Royal Blended Canadian Whiskey was first created as a gift for the King and Queen of England to honor them during their visit to Canada in 1939. To this day, every bottle of Crown Royal Whiskey is crafted to meet the same uncompromising standard.
Let's see the box.
35% alcohol by volume.
Again, just so you can see.
Yes.
Sorry, this is going to be a cut, but
Are we even?
I just want to make sure.
Hello.
Okay. Yep. Nope. That is okay. The microphone is going.
Just so you can see. You should probably get back to.
Okay.
Just so you can see.
There you have it. Crown Royal Regal Apple.
Very regal.
Very. That. Okay. So let's before we dive into the liquor itself, the marketing. We put it in a very eye-catching, sharp green box, bag, and bottle. We put the name Regal above the word apple to really drive the point home that this is a premium taste of flavored whiskey. Keep that in mind. Go ahead.
So, when you open the classic Crown Royal bag, which these are so common, like so many people get caught using Crown Royal bags as paraphernalia.
Oh, yes.
That it's actually just an acronym in some police departments. CRB. It was just found in CRB.
Yeah.
Now,
don't use a Crown Royal bag ever for anything. Just don't keep them anymore.
I keep change in mine, and
I
even
don't know
then,
if I do that.
I've been asked about what was in my Crown Royal bag. I kept changing it in my pickup truck, and they even asked me about that.
Yeah.
So duly noted. You know, there's a million and one uses for these, but maybe not your vehicle if you're an American. So
Accurate. As you can see, Phil has.
I filled up 2 decanters,
Yep.
one 750, one 350, and had maybe a shot or 2 out of this just because. And other than that, yeah, I haven't really gotten too deep into this.
I do have a bottle of this on my shelf. I got it for a birthday present. I want to say at least 2, maybe 3 years ago. And my experience with it, I have not had it in a while. It's been capped, it's been on my shelf for some time. My experience with it thus far, I have tried to mix it, and I've had pretty up and down results. The results actually were kind of surprising for my liking. I thought it'd be really good with a Sprite or a 7 Up. Unfortunately, it was not. I actually preferred it with Coca-Cola. I don't know why, but it worked with Coca-Cola. It did not work great with Sprite 7 Up.
Crown and Coke is such a classic
Maybe that's it.
combination. I like even the ones that people didn't really like the Crown Honey and the Crown Maple. I suspect the best mixture for those would have still been that Crown with Coke.
Well, let's just preface this with I had a bottle of honey. I gave it to Phil because I just didn't want to see it anymore.
And I gave it to Nurse Ratchet because her sister really liked it.
Crown Honey was absolute garbage.
It was Crown with honey in it.
I don't even know if it was that.
It's kind of like
It was garbage.
Crown Maple was basically just Crown Royal with maple syrup added. It wasn't aged in a maple cask.
Unfortunately, that would have been much better.
Oh, that would have been marvelous if they'd have aged it in a cask made of maple wood.
Huh, Canadian whiskey aged in a maple cask. What a concept. Really dropped the ball there, didn't you, Crown?
Well, I'm not sure what the Canadian laws are, but for like Scotland, and it must be in an oak barrel.
Okay.
It has to be oak. In America, to call it bourbon, it must be aged in an oak barrel. Ireland has you can age it in all kinds of different wood barrels if you want. I don't know what the Canadian laws are on that.
Well, if you call this a Regal Apple, I feel like you can age your maple whiskey in a maple cask and figure out a way to do it.
That's probably fair.
So honey and maple have been retired on the Crown line. This is still available.
And selling quite well.
And yeah, some people like it, some people don't. I've avoided it for a while. I'm coming back to it now. All right.
So you've seemed somewhat skeptical on this review.
Very skeptical. That's a nice way of putting it. Crown Apple. Yeah. I don't think I tried it neat once. So
this will be
a trial run on the neat.
All right, let's see how it hits the nose.
Wow.
Sweetened apple.
The nose.
It's not even like apple juice. It's just like
no, it's candy apple, as
in
like
if you get an actual apple.
If you go to a convenience store and you buy not the peach rings, but the apple rings, the gummy apple rings, the white and green apple rings.
I'm getting actual orchard apple. I know you're
way sweeter than that. Way sweeter than that.
Well, yeah, there's a sugar in there, but it's not. I don't know. The apple.
Like if you buy a bag of the peaches, you open the bag of the peachy rings up, you get sugary peach up. And I didn't get that with the Crown Peach. If you open up a bag of the apple ring, gummy apples, this is the aroma that I immediately get. It's good. Don't get me wrong. This is the smell. The smell is fantastic. It smells every bit of an apple amplified because it is very sweet. It's very soothing. It's a very fruity nose. I like it. Nose alone, it's great. It actually might smell better than it tastes, if I'm being completely honest.
This does make me wonder if we shouldn't start adding nosing to our ratings. How does it rate on a nose?
Now, we go pretty in depth on the nose already, but it is something to consider. This is a For me, this is a high rating on the nose. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
the nose.
This is a 4-star nose easily.
Indeed.
Now that we're going to rate this on a few scales, as a liqueur, I think Canadian Spirit would be fair
Okay.
to rank it against the other Canadian spirits, then to rank it as a brown spirit,
Okay.
and then
Top
shelving.
Yep. Okay.
So, champ. Wow, that's smooth. That is smooth. Just goes down.
That's incredibly smooth.
Goes down too easy.
Wow. Yeah, it is.
There's a slight bite on the back.
Surprisingly, as smooth as the front tasting is, yeah, there is a bite on the back. And then when it finally does decide to settle down the trail, you get a very warm.
It's like a schnapps warm.
Yes. Perfect analogy. Very much like a schnapps warm. But you get that with the Crown Canadian whiskeys. You get that, and that's a very familiar feeling.
It's meant to warm you up in the tundra.
Indeed. The aroma, I think the aroma is actually sweeter than the taste, which is saying something.
Yeah, I agree.
There's no other taste there other than apple, and there's another sweetness there.
Yeah, it's on the back. I don't know what it is.
It's not the apple. It's like you get the apple flavor.
Is that the caramel?
It has to be.
Is that the caramel you're getting in the nose?
It has to be, because it's a lingering sweetness. It's a sticky sweetness.
More like molasses.
Yeah, like a
toffee or molasses.
Yeah, there you go, toffee. That'd be perfect. Toffee. Apple settles, thick sweetness, warmth. I'll be honest, that is so much better neat than anything I've done with it previously.
Yep. It is a good, neat drink. So, as a liqueur, what do you rate this, sir?
As a liqueur, I will give this a 3.
3. Damn. That is not. Why is it so low, if you don't mind my asking?
Because for a liqueur, I have you could say a specific palate for what I want out of a liqueur. I have my preferences because liqueurs are meant to be blended and mixed, so on and so forth.
Italian liqueurs.
And apple's not my go-to flavor for liqueur. It's a good apple flavor. So I give it a 3, but apple's not going to be my go-to flavor.
As a liqueur, I'm going to give it 3.75.
Really?
Yeah, okay. It's a fine liqueur as far as I'm concerned. Now, I'm a little partial.
Sure.
The
well,
Crown
yeah, I mean, brand name.
The Crown Royal Distillery has been around my kinfolk a little bit. That's the best way I could put it.
That's fine.
Now, as a Canadian spirit.
As a Canadian spirit, 2.5.
Wow. Why is that?
Because I've had Crown Royal and I've had Crown XR. Enough said.
And Crown Peach. You and you're not going to agree with
me. No, go ahead. That's fine.
On Canadian spirits, which, to be frank, is to be compared to other Crown Royals.
Yes.
Pendleton's as well is a well-known brand, which we will get into.
But Crown is
the undisputed.
Juggernaut.
Crown is as one king would be able to recognize. Crown Royal does. We're the crown. I'm giving it 4 stars as a Canadian spirit.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
I feel you're being generous.
I feel I am being honest about the fact that the field is limited and that this is top of the line for the Canadian market. I know. But compare it to the other things in the Crown Royal line. It's not as good as Exgar. It is not as good as Exgar.
No!
Duh.
Is
But
it as
as
good
a
as Peach? Because I
Canadian
feel like you
spirit,
rated Peach.
you forget I gave Peach 5.5
Yeah.
stars.
All right.
So Apple is, I'm being nice, not giving it 7 just to piss you off.
4.
Needed a stogie for that one, huh?
Yep. Had to.
Yep, that one.
We had to take a quick time out
Quick
because
commercial break.
while I expected a bit of a differentiating rating, I didn't expect that high on the Canadian whiskey scale.
2.5? Well, Canadian spirits, because it's technically a liqueur.
Am I being too brutal with my rating?
I think we're getting a little snobby in the fact that we've been trying a
Okay.
lot of good scotches. And like,
That's probably part of it.
now, here's where things are going to come crashing
Fine.
back down to reality.
2.7.
Oh, you generous bastard.
2.75.
But now this is where things come crashing back to reality here. Brown spirit.
I'm going to let you go first.
If you're going to compare this to an Oban 14, a TX whiskey, a Dalmore 12, I'm sorry that it's not quite the same as a brown spirit. Now, I would normally give it 2 stars if it wasn't for the fact that this is such an amazing cocktail liqueur. Like, I can do so much with this. So that being said, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars as a brown spirit.
As a brown spirit, I'm going to disagree. I don't think you can do as much with this. And I will explain that. If you wanted to make extravagant drinks, if you wanted to take this and use it as a base for like a gin-based cocktail, like an apple teeny, something along that, would be marvelous. If you are like 95% of the people that are going to buy a bottle of this and dump it into a glass with a little bit of ice and then pour soda on top of it, you're going to have a hard time finding something you like, as I said earlier.
Yeah, you're right. This is for extravagant cocktails.
Yeah.
You're talking to a guy that's down for making those.
Extravagant cocktails, it works. For mixing with sodas, I'm sorry, it does not work great for that, too.
Crown Peach shockingly does. And
Crown Peach is versatile.
Yeah, it mixes with a lot. So even though I was being a little high with my rating just to piss you off that night because it was topical with Meltzer's rating, I still think there's some justification for what I said there. But yeah, I'm gonna. So what did you give it as a star rating?
2 on brown.
2. And I would have been with you if it wasn't for the fact that we disagree on cocktailing on this one. So this one,
you can do stuff with it. I'm just saying the majority of people who are going to use it as a mixed base are not going to go to the lengths that it would require to make a fine drink with it. Most people are going to pour it into a cup with ice and dump soda, and it's not going to be good.
You do raise an excellent point because this is a boutique cocktail whiskey that I don't really think a lot of high-end bartenders work with. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think they do. You're going to see this on the back shelf of most any bar you go to because they're going to have their line of Crown Royal liqueurs that they've acquired over the years. And it's going to be on display because it's a fancy bottle, it's a name brand. This is not going to be going down very quickly because nobody's going to request it in their mixed drink, which at a bar is going to be a very simple 1-2 combination cocktail, if you can even call it that. And in that genre, in my opinion, it fails. But if you're going to put it in a martini glass with some other extravagant additives, this would be good. So that hinders it. 2 stars on a brown spirit.
Now, top, middle, bottom shelf, sir. Be honest with the fans.
I'm honestly, I can drink this neat and enjoy it. That puts it on a middle. Mixing it, bottom. So it's right in the middle there.
Ooh, ouch. That's basically you trying to be nice while saying it's a bottom shelf whiskey.
It is, but you
Okay.
could move it up.
Okay.
Crown Honey, bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Beyond bottom. I'm not even going to show that off.
We both
given it away.
The same bottle.
It was gifted to me. I drank it and I gifted it to him, and then
I took one
it.
drink of it and I gifted it. So,
and this is light years better than the Crown Honey.
Oh yes. This is definitively a middle shelf for me. Like, I'm not gonna put it on the bottom shelf. Crown Royal just doesn't go on the bottom shelf for me.
I digress.
Well, it's just such a smooth blend. Like, you have to give their blender some real credit here, because again, there's only a slight bite on the back. Now it's 35 ABV, which is the preferred ABV to drink whiskey. In my, not just my opinion, but there's some research to suggest that that's the optimal ABV, so you can get the most flavor, and the whiskey bite isn't going to hurt you. Which is why this is so popular, because it's at 35 ABV.
I would say that the optimal way to drink this is neat with maybe even a splash of water. I wouldn't dilute it in the slightest because, as you said, the ABV is already where it needs to be. Drink it neat. Maybe chill the actual liquor itself. Don't cube it.
What about to say, this would be a good one for Scotch rocks.
You could, there you go. Chill the liquor itself, but don't dilute the alcohol. Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
So, I thought you were going to be a lot more harsh to this whiskey than I thought, but you were honest, and I was maybe a little more
generous,
honest than you were anticipating. Okay. So, as I'm known to say around here, folks, all that being said, this has been our review of Crown Royal Apple. Folks,
Regal.
Regal. So regal. Proper courtesy. Queensberry rules. So, folks, I am devilishly handsome outlaw himself, your king of extreme, Phil KOE, signing off and handing it off to my indomitable broadcast partner,
Tony fucking G. Like, share, subscribe. Stay with us, especially during these trying times, for all the happenings of the wrestling world and the alcohol world. No better place to be, folks. Thanks for joining us.